Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm James. Thanks for stopping by and checking out my video. Today I'm going to be talking about my review of 2020, and it wasn't all that bad, to be honest, but I'm going to go through month by month the few races I managed to take part in and some training runs and just noticeable things that happened. Really, I'm going to go through it and I hope you enjoy. Let's have a chat about my 2020 in running. Well, back in January, a year ago, can you believe that? It started off well for me because I had the Gloucester half marathon, which I wasn't really in great shape for, to be honest, and I had no expectations. But I did that and felt really good and achieved my second ever sub-2 half marathon just by the skin of my teeth. And I got 1:59:49 at that. I was really happy with it, and there is a video if you want to see that. In fact, all the things I talk about, well, most of the things I talk about today, there will be links in the description to the actual videos that I took during those races or times. So yeah, and January continued to be a good month for me because I did a 10k PB at the Race Rapid at Moseley Park in Leicestershire, and I went under 53 minutes for the 10k for the first time, again just by the scruff of the neck, and I think it was about 50, was it about 52, 55 or something. But yeah, a good month in January, and moving on to February, it was the Leicestershire half, and the weather was awful. It was windy, really windy, and wet. Pretty horrible. There was quite big puddles on some parts of the course. Brother Nick and me did that, but yeah, it was a good race, but came in about 2 hours and 5 minutes, which was okay. I sort of realised that a PB or a sub-2 would be out the window about halfway around the course. And then it was a trip to sunny Spain for the Benidorm half marathon at the end of February, and what a laugh that was. Met up with Norm and a few others, and yeah, it was all about the sunshine, the beer, and the half marathon. That was an interesting one. They changed the course and added this horrendous hill, which we had to do twice. So any decent time was out the window there, and came in about 2:12, which was okay. But then March, things started to go wrong with this global problem and COVID. It was all kicking off in March, and the future of races was looking very bleak indeed. But I managed to just squeeze my 100th park run in, and I did it at Bushy Park, which what a place to do your 100th. Again, there's a video of that experience, so you can check that out for yourselves. But yeah, it was awesome to finally go to Bushy Park and do my 100th. Little did I realise that would be the last park run up until, well, we haven't had one since, and we're almost a year on. And that led me to start my own little series of D.I.Y park run, which I'll come to that later. But yeah, I'm almost approaching the 50th event there. So that indicates almost 50 weeks with no park run, and not really very hopeful for a park run in the near future, but let's hope the vaccine works anyway. But yeah, more on that later. So yeah, that was the park run at Bushy Park, and the day after was the Hampton Court half marathon. A very weird atmosphere because everyone sort of knew that the COVID problem was getting bad, and lockdown was on the cards. And yeah, it was just a really surreal atmosphere, and the weather was awful that day. It was really windy, and didn't really get on with the course at that one. But as usual, it was well organised by Run Through, and fantastic medal, fantastic t-shirt. But yeah, it was a really surreal race experience, and the second half I really struggled, and we came in at 2 hours and 8 minutes with that one. And then lockdown. Way, we were locked down at the end of March. So all races were cancelled, postponed, and I had to learn to like training on my own. It's something I've never really done before. I've always trained in a group or used races and park runs as training. But yeah, I started to go out on my own and quite enjoyed it actually. Got to learn to live with it, we'll say, and did quite a lot of mileage. So on to April. it was mainly the launch of my DIY parkrun, which was basically a 5k every Saturday, or close to Saturday as possible, but do it every week and call it DIY parkrun. And I'd never really race it or anything. It was just a case of getting the distance done, so I'd either go really easy or a little bit of a time trial now and again. But the purpose was just to complete 5k once a week and lock it down as my DIY parkrun. So yeah, we started that. And what else did we do? We did a virtual challenge, which my wife Heather took part in, which was really good. Enjoyed doing that with her. And I launched my DIY half marathon as well. Again, to try and keep a long run once a week and keep motivated. Again, no focus on times, just getting the distance in. So yeah, just getting the half marathon in as and when I can. I didn't do that weekly, but I tried to do at least one a month. So yeah, we're on to May now, and again, appreciating what sort of routes I've got around me locally and discovering new routes around Sutton Park and surrounding areas, and we found some really nice routes and just exploring that a little bit more. I took the dog out for a few runs, and yeah, it was starting to really enjoy it, and the weather was good as well, and the light mornings, just great to get out about 6 o'clock in the morning, go for a run before work, which I'm currently working from home still. But yeah, I was getting into a good routine really, and yeah, discovered Plantsbrook Nature Reserve just down the road, and you'll see videos on that. Really nice lake, and several lakes, and a stream that runs into it. It's brilliant. It's really picturesque. You can't believe that I'm half a mile from home in urban Birmingham. So yeah, what else? I bought a new GoPro, which I'm filming on now, the GoPro Hero 8. So the production quality improved, hopefully, on my videos. You'll notice better filming, more stability. And I learned to use iMovie as well, which again, hopefully has increased the quality of my output. So we're on to June, and I did a 5k time trial in June, and went to Perry Hall Parkrun course, my beloved Perry Hall, and it's a nice and flat route. I got there really early in the morning before the heat, and I clocked my second fastest 5k. I think it was about 24 minutes and 45 seconds. So not far off PB. I was really pleased with that. We had a 10k time trial as well. Once again, discovering something on my doorstep called Whitton Lakes, and it's a really nice place to run. It's flat. It's got some nice scenic bits, and again, I've done videos on that if you want to check out Whitton Lakes. And that was that ended up being a virtual 10k for the cattle creep, because that's usually on a Thursday evening in June in the summer, cancelled because of COVID, so I had to do that virtually, and I clocked a fairly decent time for me. I think it was about 53 minutes and 50 seconds, so about a minute off PB pace. I didn't even set off to do it as a time trial. I just felt good, and upped the gears a bit, and was really happy with the result. So June, what else we got? I started running with my brother, because we were allowed a little bit of freedom with the COVID thing. We were allowed to meet a couple of people at that point outdoors, so we did some really nice runs around his area. Again, there's a film on that if you want to check that out, running around Cannock Chase. Some beautiful scenery, and the weather was just amazing. It was so hot, and some really stunning sunsets. Oh, it was just check those out. So July, the annual Birmingham Black Country Half Marathon, which is like a canal route from Wolverhampton to Birmingham, obviously postponed due to COVID. And again, at that point, things were starting to open up a bit. The pubs even opened on that day. It was July the 4th, and I met up with a couple of running friends who are much faster than me. And it was originally just going to be a plod, but they asked me what pace I wanted to do. So I went off at sub 2 half marathon pace, and managed to hold it all the way through, and I was so happy with that. To do it wasn't a race, but it was a sort of time trial-ish sort of thing. But yeah, did a 1:58 half marathon, which I was so pleased with, and went to the pub after to celebrate, and guess the rest. We all had a few drinks, and it was all very socially distanced, and it was all very civilised. But yeah, it was a fantastic day. Got that time, and then the pubs had opened, and we thought at that point life was going to get better. Well, it did for a short while. So July we did that. I also discovered Moseley Bog, which is it's a unique place in Birmingham, and I had a little plod around there. Once again, there's a video if you want to check that out. But it was all about discovering stuff that places I've never been to before, which were all in close proximity of where I live. And yeah, more trail runs with brother Nick. Fantastic, you know, the weather was good as well. Yeah, on to August, discovering another place, Bourn Brook Walkway, which is a great place to have a 10k training run, because you sort of follow this brook and it all goes uphill, and then you turn around and come back down. And I love that place. Just great place to discover and have a little run. Once again, video should you want to check that one out. Then on to September, and we've still got a little bit of freedom at this point, so sort of travelling was sort of allowed. But I went up north to where the Great North Run should be. I've got a friend who lives in Whitley Bay, Dave, and we did the Rising Sun parkrun course, which was good. And then I visited, just for old time's sake, I visited South Shields, where the Great North Run finishes. But most of you already know that. And I had a little walk around the course and reminisced and did a little jog. And again, I did a video on that. It was so nice to go back to South Shields, even though it wasn't for the Great North Run. It was quite emotional, really. So yeah, oh yeah, in September as well, we had the Milton Keynes Reimagined, which was how do I describe it? They opened the course up for 2 weeks. You sort of had an app on your phone, and you could just turn up and do the run whenever you wanted to, and it logged your time, and you got the medal and t-shirt. So it was a sort of race, but it wasn't. Again, it was a really warm day, and the first half I was on course for a decent time, but the second half of the race caught me out a bit. It was a little bit more undulating than I thought it would be, and the heat was just being on my own and not having that motivation, I sort of lost interest on the second half. Came in at 2:06. Video there if you want to see it. On to October, and Beachy Head Marathon just managed to go ahead, and I was meant to do a review of that, but I just haven't had the time or the inclination to do that. But I can't thank Beachy Head Marathon organisers enough for putting on a COVID-safe event. It was flawless, it was so well organised, and thoroughly enjoyable. Once again, it's a brutal course. There's a video on that if you want to check out Beachy Head Marathon. But yeah, it was amazing. The weather, not so good. It was very windy and made the second half pretty much unbearable, but it was just nice to be in a race environment again. And I can't stress enough how well they did with that event. Full video if you want to see that. November, not much going on. Weather getting rubbish, restrictions tightened up again. And I didn't realise it, but because I've been doing more miles, I was hitting 1,000 miles. I was very close to 1,000 miles, which was an unexpected goal. So I filmed that down at the local park and did it as a DIY park run, and finished at Plantsbrook Nature Reserve. So you can see that video where I hit my 1,000 mark. And for some reason, that's been one of my most popular videos on my channel. It's hit over 1,000 views, and it's only been up a month, 2 months or so, which for me, I mean, I'm only a small little channel. For me, that's quite an achievement. So thanks to all the people that have watched that and hopefully enjoyed it. Right then, December. Again, things getting bleak with lockdowns and tears, and you don't need me to talk about all that. But I cheered myself up and went out on Christmas Day, dressed up in my stupid Christmas pajamas. Looked like an idiot, but it was all about getting out there and just having a laugh, and there is a video on that should you want to see me doing my DIY park run Christmas Day, speaking to everyone I saw, wishing them happy Christmas, and just looking like an idiot. But yeah, it was all good fun, and it was actually quite a nice day, Christmas Day weather-wise, so thoroughly enjoyable. Well, that's it really for 2020. Thanks for bearing with me. I've done this totally off the cuff, so I hope you've enjoyed it. There was quite a lot of positives in 2020, although no real races apart from the odd few which I mentioned. The start of this year anyway is looking a bit bleak on for running in groups and what have you, so I'm going to have to continue training on my own. There's not going to be a lot of videos because there's not really a lot going on at the moment. I don't do shoe reviews or anything like that, so it's just literally me going out now and again. But if I find a picturesque course that I haven't done before, I might do a video. But yeah, as for 2021 goals, I don't have any. The only goal is to maintain the fitness that I've got, keep going out on my own as much as I can, and yeah, the goal is to actually take part in a race, because that would be nice. There's lots of stuff that I should be doing and has been postponed from last year. Hopefully some of those will go ahead. I've entered Beachy Marathon again, so yeah, you never know. I'm just going to sort of live every day as it comes, and that's all you can do in these trying circumstances. So I hope everyone is doing okay and keeping safe, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. If you have enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to the channel. It'd be great to have you on board for more running related adventures. Let's see if we can make the second half of the year a little bit better. Take care, bye.